Hi, what's up, y'all? It's Poppin' It's D. About to react to this impressive vid. It's titled Drake Uses AI to Diss Kendrick Lamar. Includes Snoop and Tupac in his AI endorsement. Jesus. And Snoop reacts. Please let me know what Snoop had to say because this is wild. And to use AI Snoop, when Snoop is alive and well and he could do the verse himself if he actually wanted to, is crazy. Why would you do that? I heard a snippet of it and I just turned it off because it was just eerie. I don't like hearing AI of dead people. And I heard a clip of Tupac saying something about Kendrick, and I was just like, oh my God, this is so cringy. It's so weird. I just don't like it. And I think Drake is fucking corny, bro. He get on my nerves. I like his music, but oh, he is so lame. You already dropped your little track and said what you had to say. What is this other stuff for? I don't get it. And Kenny haven't even responded yet. Like, boy, bye. Anyway, let's see what's going on. Let's watch.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the impressive channel. Drake is using AI to battle with Kendrick Lamar. Is this a good idea? I'll tell you my thoughts.
Oh, Lord. Y'all go support. That really caught me off guard. Okay.
Sponsoring this video. Drake is currently using AI to troll Kendrick Lamar because Kendrick still hasn't responded to Drake's diss track.
No, I don't want Kendrick to respond.
I did do a whole breakdown on the whole beef between Drake and Kendrick and Future and Metro Boomin and even Rick Ross, and a lot has transpired since then. I mean, Rick Ross has been trolling the mess out of Drake, which I think is kind of funny because he's just as petty as his baby mama, Tia Kemp.
I feel like it's getting lame now. Is it just me? I feel like all of this is just getting very lame.
Oh, it's such a beautiful day. Me waking up from a nap, I just realized BBL Drizzy called his mommy on me. He shared their text messages between each other. Cupcake Drake, tell your mama you stayed out past your curfew, white boy. You wanted to hang at the park with the niggas, smoke weed with the niggas while we watched our old school Chevys. White boy, you got a Chevy, white boy? I doubt it. But anyway, big nose. Big nose. Boy, you had 25% body fat with a carved out 6-piece stock. We know what time it is. That shit costs 40 bands.
Rick needs to stop. But anyway, Rick Ross is really a non-factor in
this
this situation
bigger than his.
because
Stupid.
Drake really wants smoke with Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick has been kind of puffing out his chest a little bit, saying that he's the best and saying that he's smoking on your top 5. And he came directly at Drake's neck in the song Like That in response to Drake and J. Cole's song First Person Shooter. And J. Cole did respond to Kendrick, but he retracted his diss. And a lot of people feel like Drake was going to cower a little bit because Kendrick does have this formidable energy about him. So they thought that Kendrick pretty much silenced Drake, but Drake was like, nah, I want the smoke. So he responded with his own diss.
And he did, and people are saying it's good, but is it making the same noise? It's not. It's not making the same noise as Kendrick's track at all. And of course, some people are like, well, you know, Kendrick's his verse was unexpected, so that's why it got a lot of talk. But no. I just think because it was so hard hitting. Like, I would just listen to that today. I'm like, this is such a great diss. Like, just his passion and the way that he was rapping, it just was so hard hitting. And like Drake's was just not. It was good. I'm not saying it's bad. I would never say Drake is a bad rapper. But it's like, are we still talking about it? No. We're moving on. And now that's why he gotta get the help of AI Tupac and AI Snoop. Because it's like, okay. But people, I feel like they were talking about this Kendrick verse for a very long time and going crazy over it.
Track called Push Ups dropping Give Me 50. And since then, Drake has been hounding Kendrick to respond. He's been trolling Kendrick and his manager, and he's basically trying to call Kendrick's bluff because he feels like Kendrick has no response for him. He only stirred up this feud to have a moment and to be provocative and gain a little bit of clout. But Drake feels like Kendrick is running scared, and he's continuing to troll Kendrick. And he just recently dropped another diss track against him called Tailor Made. And he called it Tailor Made because he feels like Kendrick is intentionally pushing back his response because he's afraid to be outshined by Taylor Swift, who just dropped her album recently. So this is how Drake
What?
feels. He feels like Taylor made Kendrick delay his response.
Oh my God.
And
I
I
don't
want
think
to talk a
that's the
little
case.
bit about Drake's diss track Taylor made
That's
because
ridiculous.
he did the most petty thing, okay? He used an AI Tupac and an AI Snoop Dogg for this song. And in the song, they were begging Kendrick to respond to Drake. And while I think
So
the concept
lame.
of this is funny, I do have an
Is
issue with the
it?
idea of somebody else's voice and likeness being used and transferred into this whole AI
Yeah, it's kind of
experiment.
disrespectful.
And that's exactly what it is. I'm starting to believe that this whole feud between Kendrick and Drake is going to be used as an AI experiment for these labels. Joe Budden was the first one who brought this up. And when I first heard him say that, I was like, I don't know about it, but that is an interesting conspiracy.
Wait.
At first, people thought Kendrick dropped 2 diss songs against Drake, but we later on found out that that was created through AI.
They sound fake.
And now you see Drake using AI in his diss record, and he's using the voices of Snoop Dogg and Tupac to do it, which is crazy and disrespectful. But he's doing it, and it kind of makes me wonder if he's actually in cahoots with some of these labels to test out this whole AI thing.
AI stuff, don't kill me. I'm just a messenger here. I have good information that's just Drake.
Drake is doing that to them.
Drake is responsible for the Kendrick leaks, AI leaks.
That makes sense.
Drake and the bots.
If my plan involved AI, I would want to test. I would run a very sophisticated test. And because I fired everybody, that means I need my big boy acts to be not only as big as they were, but even bigger now. How do I do that? I'm no politic genius, but I know that one thing war does, besides get people killed, is make some money.
Generate revenue.
Why would I not have the 3 biggest acts in the world just fight? They're all universal.
Good for business.
Great for business. Then I just start feeling like some type of pawn.
The more you look at the situation, the more you realize how spot on Joe Budden was. Joe Budden be knowing. He knows a lot of inside information. He knows. And he knows that these labels are going to eventually replace these artists with AI. The labels are trying to save money and maximize their profit. They're not trying to pay singers or rappers or songwriters or anybody.
But I don't want to hear AI song, and especially certain artists like Kendrick, for example, would be very difficult to do for AI, because if you just listen to that verse, the way that he rapped on that, like, AI can't do that. He's not just and that's what AI sounds like. He's the way that he's emphasizing his words, and he kind of speeds up and slows down his flow, and it's just not something that a robot can execute. So I feel like this is a terrible plan. If this is the plot, the major scheme, I don't think it's a great plan at all. Even Cole, like, I feel like an AI. I heard an AI song from him, and it wasn't good at all. Like, I could tell, like, this is fake. So I feel like that wouldn't work either. Maybe with Drake. Maybe AI would work with him.
They rather keep the money in-house. So how do they
But
do
for
that?
a lot of
They do that
artists,
by creating
I
an
don't know.
artificial artist. And if you remember, they tried to test it out with this virtual rapper FN.
Oh, she said new
They're
artist.
not going for it.
But even then, like, I feel like they just would sound dead. Like, AI just, it sounds bland, like dead, like it's lacking personality because it's not a person.
Because he used the N-word and he wasn't supposed to be black, so he got canceled.
Okay.
And so the industry was like, okay, people are
Not
not
canceling
receptive to this
AI.
whole idea of an AI artist, so we're just gonna wait a little bit.
Cancel
And
an
right
AI
now, I do
artist.
think they recruited Drake as a pawn to
It's
go along
funny.
with this whole scheme. You see, they're
Not
slowly
the robot being
introducing us
racist.
and slowly
Damn.
getting us to accept the use of AI. And if Joe Budden is telling the truth about Drake being a part of this whole thing, Drake is a complete sellout. He's a complete sellout. He's promoting AI, which a lot of artists are against right now because their intellectual property is being used, their likeness, their image, their voices, is all being used without their control, and they're going to be replaced by AI, which is why it's silly that Drake is promoting it, because he eventually will be replaced in the future as well. And
I
now
think when
that I look
that
at
does
it, I
happen,
think
if it
J.
happens,
Cole
we all be
backing away
dead.
from this whole feud was really smart on his part. He said it didn't feel good in his spirit to come at Kendrick, and I
He's
now
lost, bro.
realize why. It's not because he's afraid to compete, but he's starting to see that he too was being used as a pawn to gain traction and streams for these labels. He doesn't have an issue with Kendrick. He actually
I don't
respects
think
him.
it's.
But these labels love to see big artists like this get into a feud because this puts more money in their pockets. And now you have people like Drake using AI. And at this point, it's no longer hip hop. It's something else. It's something else. It's something more sinister. And I don't like the direction. And I definitely don't
She
like
was something
Drake
sinister.
using Snoop Dogg and Tupac's
Yeah, I don't
voice
like that
in this
either.
whole battle.
Agreed.
It's just messy.
What does Snoop
it
have to
really
say?
is. I know he did it to be funny, and it is funny. Don't get me
Is
wrong.
it?
It was funny when I was listening to it, but then I sat back and thought about it and said, wow, this is crazy. Now, Snoop Dogg reacted to his voice being used on this AI diss song, and he was acting completely clueless. Now, do I think he didn't know anything about this? I don't know. I think Drake tipped him off, gave him a little cash. Who knows? But if he knew about this, it would be kind of messed up too, because he allowed Drake to use him to come for his little nephew Kendrick.
What the fuck?
They did what? When? How?
Okay, your acting is horrible.
Are you sure?
Alright, bye. Log off, Unc.
Y'all have a good night.
Yes, please log
That's
off.
all. Right off. Everybody calling my phone, blowing me up. What the fuck? What happened? What's going on? I'm going back to bed.
Please do.
This whole situation
Unc is acting
just a
clueless.
mess.
He
It's
know
a
what the
mess.
fuck going
And
on.
it kind of makes me not want Kendrick to respond now that I see this for what it is. But he eventually will respond, and he has to address this. But I think he should wait until he drops his album. It was rumored that his album is coming in May, so I do think that would be a perfect time to drop his response, because a lot of people will be tuning in, and also he will capitalize off of it. So I think that would be a good marketing strategy for him. But
Yeah, this beef getting lame. But if the whole AI situation is true, like, would we be surprised that Drake is partaking in this nonsense? I mean, his peers have already exposed him to be a sellout in so many words. Like, he seems to only care about himself and how he's benefited in the moment. That's how they are, making him out to be. I don't know the nigga, obviously, so I don't fucking know. But that's what the streets is saying, But yes, all getting very corny. I hope that Kendrick does drop an album, though, and address it then. Don't feed into it and drop a random little track. Just put it in your album. That's what I'm waiting for. Y'all let me know what y'all think, though. Let me know what other videos you've been watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.